Welcome to this week's edition of the Dakota Angler 2-Minute Fishing Report. Well, it finally arrived, and what am I talking about? The cold air. The cold air that we've been wishing for and hoping for is definitely in place, and now people are saying it's too cold. Come on, really? We're ice fishermen, and the good thing about it, all this cold air is definitely making ice out there. Quite a bit of ice is being made on a day-to-day basis, and that's increasing the safety out there. But still, there's many lakes around eastern South Dakota that the ice thickness varies greatly, especially like Ponset and Thompson. So again, be very, very careful. But I think by this weekend, especially lakes up north of Watertown, a lot of people are going to be driving out on those. So again, I can't emphasize precautionary measures need to be taken. And just, if you don't need to do it, don't do it. Use an ATV, snowmobile, or even walk out, especially, like I said, in areas south of Watertown. But as far as the fishing report is concerned, the lakes that were producing walleyes up in the northeastern part of the state this past week included Bitter, Waubay, Roy, Goose, Bullhead, Hazelton, Minnewaska, Reed, North and South Rush, Opitz, Fish Lake, and then also Drywood. And now one thing to keep in mind as well is that cold front, when it came through, it made the fish quite negative in many locations, and that made fishing a little bit more difficult. But down the southeastern part of the state, the lakes that were producing walleyes are a little bit fewer than up in the northeastern part of the state. Those lakes include Thompson, Whitewood, Henry, Ponset, and as I mentioned, the ice thickness varies greatly in Thompson, Ponset, as well as Dry by Willow Lake, and they were catching a few walleyes there as well. Spirit, Scott Slough, Henry WPA, and then also Twin. And remember, Twin is the trophy lake. Now, what have people been doing to catch those walleyes? A lot of jigging spoons, such as the Clam Rattling PT spoon. That's been a really hot one lately. The Northland Glass Buckshot, VMC Rattling Roach have all been producing some nice walleyes. The Euro Tackle Spade Spoon, Spade Blade has been working quite well again. And also the Lindy Rattling Flyer. All very traditional presentations. It's tipped with a minnow head. It's been doing some really nice results lately. As far as the panfish bite is concerned around the area, mainly the perch have been really, cooperating somewhat. Big Stone, Waubay, Bitter, a few being caught at Pickerel, Whitewood, as well as Thompson and Ponset. And then the crappie bite has definitely been impacted by the cold front that came through the area this past week. But the lakes that produced crappie included Henry, Thompson, Schaefer Slough, Whitewood, Ponset, as well as Pelican. Now, what have you guys been doing to catch the panfish? Nothing too special at this point in time, but the VMC larvae eye jig has worked quite well. Also, the Clam Tika Flash, the Euro Tackle ESR jig have also been doing well, and then also Pilkies. The Northland, the smaller versions of the Northland eyeball spoon has been also producing some perch when it's been tipped with maggots or waxworms, and we have plenty of that on hand here at the store. In this week's version of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about protecting yourself from the cold. In other words, cold weather gear. Because this past weekend, we all know how cold it can get around here, and that's the whole key, is that you want to have the gear to protect yourself from those adverse elements when you're out there ice fishing or even snow blowing or doing anything else like that. And to give you an idea, all our ice fishing gear, such as the suits, the flotation suits, which also protect you from the cold, are all on sale. Whether or not you're talking from Eskimo, Clam, Striker, Strike Master, they're all on sale. The other thing that's on sale that's also very critical is the proper boots to protect yourself from and protect your feet from the cold. So we have them from Northland, Striker, Clam. They are all on sale. Some really great prices, and these boots are really, really warm to say the least. I wear them myself. I highly, highly recommend them. The other thing, gloves, stocking caps, all things that you need to have to protect yourself from the cold. The other thing is that you can have is what we call a balaclava. They are basically like a face mask. Things that, again, what you want to do is minimize the amount of exposed flesh that you have with the cold, because that's where all your heat is going to be lost, mainly through your head, but also you're going to be dealing with areas of frostbite if we're dealing with dangerous elements like we had this past week. So the more clothing you have, the better off you are. And the more that you can layer, the better off you are. Now, you don't want to sweat. That is a big danger out there, is that when you're working, drilling holes and moving around, that you're going to be sweating too much. You don't want to sweat too much because, again, there's going to be adverse effects from that. So, again, the nice thing is you come on in here. We'll figure out what your body type is, so to speak, on whether or not you normally get too hot or too cold. And we'll find the suit and the outdoor gear that matches your body type and the amount of action or amount of activity that you're going to have out on the ice. So again, make sure you stop on by here at the store. We are your cold weather headquarters when it comes to ice fishing equipment, and take advantage of some of these great deals that we have going on. And the other thing is something that you also need out there is also something hot, a hot meal. And that's where we have these O-meals. Those O-meals are very, very popular year after year. This one here is the beef stew. There's 11 varieties, 11 different meals that you can make out on the ice. You don't need anything to heat it up. It has a heating packet already in there. And there's nothing better on a cold winter day than a hot meal. And you can have one of these O-meals out on the ice, and you can have one, different types of meals for different types of the days. You name it, but we have a great selection of these O-meals, and I highly recommend them. Very nutritious, very good, very tasty, quite honestly. If you have never seen these before, make sure you stop on by here at the store. We'll show them to you. We'll explain how they work, but I highly, highly recommend them. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com. And folks, before we end this week's report, I want to remind you of our ongoing sale. As I mentioned in Todd's Tackle Tips, all our cold weather gear is on sale, but that also includes shacks, augers, electronics, rods and reels. Anything ice fishing related as far as equipment is concerned is on sale. So make sure you want to stop by and take a look at all the great deals that you can have this time of year. If you can't make it to the store, make sure you check us out on the web at DakotaAngler.com, and we'll get your order shipped out to you the next day. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 605-336-9132. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! Thanks for watching, folks. Stay healthy, and we'll see you next week. Stay safe.